Okay. Then we have so many types of dunes. Here you can see we have a barchans. Now, what are barchans? Barchans are crescent-shaped dunes, and these crescent-shaped dunes are formed when we have these two horns. So we have a two horns here, and they are pointing downwind. I told you that this is the direction of wind. Suppose this is the direction of wind. So they are actually telling us the downwind specifically. They are formed by unidirectional wind. When the wind direction is one throughout the year, or let's say throughout the season, so in that particular case we will have a formation of what? Barchandunes. When the winds are not changing abruptly, or winds are not subjected to the seasonal changes, as a result of this there will be a formation of what? Barchandunes will be formed. They will be gentle towards windward side. Here this is the sides which is there from the wind, that will be called as what? Windward side. So this is the side from which wind is coming with respect to this dunes. So this side will be called as what? Windward side, towards wind. And this will be called as what? Leeward side. And the direction of wind will be like this. So when the wind is coming, and in the path of this wind, when the dune is there, that will be called as what? Windward side. When wind will going to move like this, well, material will be removed, gentle slope will be there, then ultimately there will be a steeper slope. So with respect to this particular dune, when the wind is moving away, that will be called as what? Leeward side. Leeward slide or slip face, you can say, that will be there. And yes, this particular Barchan dunes is very common in Sahara Desert, it is also Turkestan. It is also there in Sahara and Turkestan. And yes, they can migrate. They can lead to the movement, continuous movement, because of winds. Those who are there, they are unidirectional. As a result of unidirectional winds, like they will going to move, they will going to shift from one particular specific location to another particular specific location. Linear dunes are those dunes where the condition is almost you can say parallel to the direction, and that's how you will see the long stretches of dunes which are being formed, and the gap which is between these long or let's say these linear dunes, that will be called as caravans. Caravans are actually used for the navigation purposes if you want to cross desert. So there are linear dunes, and between the linear dunes we have caravans. They are being known as path through which the desert can be navigable easily. Transverse dunes are dunes where the direction of wind and these set of the and these dunes which are being formed, they are almost perpendicular in terms of the direction. And if the wind action is intense, that will be termed in terms of parabolic dunes. Here, that towards the windward side we will have a steeper slopes, and towards the leeward side we will have a gentler slopes in parabolic one. Then we will have a barchans. We have discussed about this. Star dune is the dune, or let's say the specific kind of dunes wherever you see the randomness in terms of the direction of wind. So whenever there is a random direction of wind, or let's say no proper direction from which or to which the wind is coming or going, then we will have a formation of these star kind of dunes, look like star. So they will have this star kind of dunes. One thing is common with respect to the dunes, and what is that? That with respect to the dunes, wind will cause deflation, wind will cause removal of material. But when wind will cause removal, and if we have a undulating topography, so wind will lead to the removal of that material up to the certain height. Under the influence of gravity, there will be a deposition, and as a result of deposition we will have what? Dunes which will be formed. All right, dunes which will going to form. Moving ahead, safe or longitudinal dunes. Safe are basically long, narrow. Here you can see long and narrow, and they are almost parallel. They are almost parallel to the wind direction. They are almost parallel to the wind direction. The length could be, more than 100 miles. Their crest is basically with the alternate peaks and trough. Here you will see that we have alternate peaks and we will have alternate trough. They are they are actually being formed whenever the winds are so much dominant, and yes, whenever we have a crosswinds as well. So these safe kind of topographical features will be formed, and yes, the another end of this safe will be open. One end will be pointed, whereas the another end, the second end, will be have a some sort of open appearance as compared to this. So it is supposed to be like this. Okay, it is supposed to be like this. Then it will be called as what? Then it might be called as Barchans. Okay, so the one horn is there, the another horn is not there. Okay, that's why it is called as what? Safe. Clear? They are found in Sahara, Katra Depression, Thar Desert in Western Australia. You will see that there are the safe which are being found. So one point is well appeared, while another point is in development or in manufacturing stage, but it is not developed yet fully. If it is not developed yet fully, that will be termed as what? Safe. Moving ahead. Loess. So Loess means the fine silt carried out away from the desert. So suppose this, like here the desert end, when the wind is there, so wind will cause some sort of deposition, and these depositions are being called as what? Loess. So when the fine dust which is carried beyond the desert by the winds, when it will going to deposit it, as a result of this, Loess landform will be formed. They are fertile, they are porous, they are lime rich, they are formed yellowish, and yes, you will see Huangtu region is there, yellow earth in China specifically. These are found. Loess plateau is there in China. Alsace and Lorraine. Alsace specifically is there in France, and in Germany you will see the same. The depth of this particular deposition is 200 to 500 meter. It will going to cover almost 250,000 square miles in China. It's the best topographical feature, best for the cultivation, if there is enough irrigation facilities, if they are available. So with the enough irrigation facilities, these Loess are the best for the cultivation. Then we have a Bajada and we have a Playa. So when we have these ephemeral lakes, they will going to be formed, and like when we have a high salt concentration due to evaporation, that kind of lakes will be called as what? Playa lakes. Suppose we have a mountain, and when we have this meager rainfall, a very scanty or less rainfall, although in that case we may have some sort of deposition of water, and when we have a deposition of water in this case, that will be called as what? Playa. So Playa is the desert landform. Okay, it will be formed wherever we have a arid or semi-arid condition. It will be what? Ephemeral lake where we have a high salt concentration, and when it will dry, it will act like a alkali flats, means it will be covered with the soil, salt crust. Salt will be there only. The white salt will be appeared because it's a desert. In desert, the evaporation is greater. The sun which is present, it will cause the removal of, or let's say it will cause the evaporation of water. Left, what will remain left? Salt will remain left, and that's how it will appear like a white. So Playa during the rain, or let's say when the rain is not there, that will be called as what? That will be called as salt pan. Salt pan, you can say. It will be called as salt pan. It will be called as salt pan. Okay, so we have this Playa. Obviously, it's a seasonal one. Bajada. Bajada are actually the depositional feature, and they are being formed when, like, we have some sort of these alluvial fans. See, this is the mountain. From this mountain, if we have a meager rainfall, so there will be a removal, and when this water is entering into the gentle slope, it will cause the discharge of its own high bed load, and whenever we have a discharge of this high bed load, there will be some sort of fan kind of shape, that will be called as what? Alluvial fan. That will be called as what? Alluvial fan. So when we have these two alluvial fans at the mountain bases, they will be called as what? They will be called as Bajada. It is formed by flash flood. Sediments may include playa lakes itself. Sometimes playa lakes could also be there in these bajadas. So when we have these mountains, when the water is coming out from the mountains, the moment when it is leaving the mountain, it will lead to the discharge of its own large removal. When the same thing is taking place in desert areas, that removed material will have some sort of concave kind of shape, and that will be termed as what? Bajada, with respect to the desert, or Aeolian landforms. So that's how we have a